You know it's a good day when you wake up and see news that one of the largest, most influential, arguably, most popular free-to-play MMOs get a confirmed sequel. That's just what happened with Guild Wars 2. When I first mentioned NCSoft were potentially developing a Guild Wars 3, people told me, "Hey STIX, you're freaking crazy. There's no way that can be the case." When I followed up several years later with confirmation that NCSoft were actually hiring programmers to create an MMO and an already pre-existing intellectual property, people said, "Hey STIX, there's no way that that could be Guild Wars 2. The game is too healthy, the staple of NCSoft's roster of games, and by association, potential to make a quality game." Yet according to multiple sources online, more specifically InVen, which documented NCSoft's shareholders meeting on the 28th, and several websites that have since covered and translated the reveal, Guild Wars 3 is already deep in development, much further than any of us likely even thought possible after this announcement. But what would a Guild Wars 3 look like? Will it differ fundamentally from Guild Wars 2? Is it the same team that's working on it? And how is this ultimately going to affect Guild Wars 2, especially given ArenaNet's commitment to releasing more frequent expansions each year? That's where we're gonna go ahead today and try to find out. Before we delve into Guild Wars 3, however, I'm gonna thank our incredible patrons over on Patreon. Your guys' support is why I can continue to make videos like this every single month, and I deeply appreciate you all being there for me. The investors meeting began by acting chairman Park Myung-moo, who we'll just refer to as Park for the remainder of this video, stating that the global gaming market in 2023 is very unstable, and NCSoft have experienced difficulties both internally and externally, resulting in a decline in stock price. With how poorly Throne and Liberty did in Korea, and NCSoft's recent statement confirming that it is up to Amazon Game Studios to essentially save the game, with Ion, Blade and Soul, Lineage, and their other mobile games all doing poorly, well, this was to be expected. Park followed this up with a statement referring to the company's history over the last 20 years. If you look back at NC's history, there are a number of successful IPs that were developed independently in Korea, which is true. Ion, Lineage, Blade and Soul, all MMORPGs that did fantastic financially until they were ruined by NCSoft's mismanagement and greed. I am confident that NC will be able to develop its capacity for sustainable development again. With regards to new intellectual properties, unlikely. Potentially by expanding on already existing intellectual properties like Lineage, Ion, or Blade and Soul, because they already carry a fan base. He then goes on to confirm innovation for change has already begun, further elaborating on NCSoft's global vision by stating this year is NCSoft's first step forward as a global game company. I dare say it's the first year, explaining that they're in the process currently of releasing numerous different games that are going to fill a variety of different categories, subgenres, some of which haven't been done before, like the new open world Trailblazer game, among many others. The CEO, Kim Taek-jin, is in the process of traveling around the world at present in an active effort to expand not only their brand, but also their scope and games by engaging in global collaborations. As noted, one of the most important routes for the company's success moving into the future is establishing a foundation for globalization, along with continuous investment to increase new IPs. 2024 is going to be a very important year for NCSoft and its shareholders, with much of its potential success riding on how well received Throne and Liberty is globally. A question was asked of Park. NC West has been running a deficit for 8 years, and I don't understand why the person in charge remains the same. NC West is a North American studio in charge of Lineage, Ion, Guild Wars, Blade and Soul across America, Europe, and Oceania. Park goes on to respond to this by confirming that originally, NCSoft had 6 studios within the United States, and after extensive work, with likely quite substantial costs, every studio was integrated into one, ArenaNet. ArenaNet is the developer behind Guild Wars and Guild Wars 2, and it is at this point that the revelation was made concerning Guild Wars 3. ArenaNet are currently working on Guild Wars 3. Looking at this process, we have considerable competitiveness, although it's not completely profitable. Referring to ArenaNet, I believe that it has increased its competitiveness. ArenaNet and the Guild Wars intellectual property have proven to be the continued driving force behind NCSoft in recent years, and just taking a look at their sales breakdown by region for the fourth quarter of 2023, you'll see that NA and EU sales grew by 15% quarter over quarter due to the strong sales of Guild Wars 2. Park further elaborates on NC West by reiterating this is their first year global leap forward, but they are also reorganizing the global headquarters. Park then talked a little about he, the COO, and CEO's claims of excessive financial compensation, even in light of their continued stock price decline. But navigating further down, we see a question asked concerning NCSoft's reputation and how brand value has fallen recently. I just want to point out here that this is not a recent occurrence. On the contrary, this is a reputation that has been deteriorating for the better half of 2 decades now. Park states that NCSoft has a negative image among streamers in the gaming industry, and that these creators will likely change their opinion about them after seeing the quality games that they plan on releasing in 2024. I have not seen a single game announced by NCSoft that has shown any significant alteration in terms of quality or a drastic departure from what they've become synonymous with. The rest of the investors meeting went over topics that were unrelated to Guild Wars, but it looks as though they're anticipating Guild Wars 3 will be a large driving force behind the studio's expansion into the Western gaming market, which could very well be true. The Guild Wars intellectual property, and more specifically, Guild Wars 2, is, for all intents and purposes, the singular exclusive game that is keeping NCSoft afloat right now. Guild Wars 3 could bring an entirely new audience to their games. But let's go ahead and take a look what people have to say. Drakon just says LOL. Yeah, that seems about right. Pink Cube called Park out for lying about having any successful intellectual properties. That's actually kind of savage, I'm not gonna lie. Kids playing NC games or Maple Story have a lower level of intelligence than the average person. You know what, this guy admittedly seems a little bit hostile. He probably failed his 50-50 in Genshin earlier today. Now let's go ahead here and take a look at Reddit, because Reddit might be a little less aggressive. Who am I kidding? Oh man, we all know that's impossible. What's gonna come out first? Guild Wars 3 or The Elder Scrolls 6? You know what? Honestly, neither, because both are probably going to be canceled and mobile ports will be announced. All the hyperbole and hand-wringing in this thread is a great example of why you shouldn't let something like this come out in a business meeting with no details whatsoever. And you know what? This is actually true, because right now everything is speculation. There are no official announcements that have been made, and everyone is jumping to conclusions. Honestly, I think Guild Wars 3 has the potential to be a phenomenal game, just like Guild Wars 2 has been, as long as the people that made Guild Wars 2 stick to the formula that people love. There is no need to reinvent the wheel, merely optimize and improve upon what already worked. But at the same time, I really don't foresee this game releasing for many years, probably sometime after 2030, with this in mind to have plenty of time to craft the perfect formula. Until then, there's always Blue Protocol on Throne and Liberty, right? Right?